What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining the Monday Live. Today's topic that we're going to be talking about is healing the root chakra. So, for me, I'm just going to kind of chat a little bit to give people a little bit of time to hop on. But for me, I love using the chakras as a foundation for healing in mind, body, spirit, in emotion. It's a tool that I use in my consultations to scan people to kind of see where maybe there are balances, imbalances, etc. So, before we hop into how can we use the root chakra as a foundation for our healing as individuals, I want to go through a few announcements. So I will still be teaching yoga, 3 yoga classes out of Empowered Wellness in Steubenville. The dates will be attached to this post. Also, there is a shamanic sound healing, shamanic sound journeying with GeneOhm, both at Empowered and at metaStone, which is located in Wellsburg. So this weekend is that welcome community event that's going to be held out in Smithfield at that's hosted out at Luna Blue. There's going to be some speakers. The event link is attached to this post, so check it out. Again, a lot of people that I just respect and trust and just deeply just have so much love for. They're going to be there facilitating a lot of great things. Kids are totally welcome. We're going to be doing a full moon equinox ceremony there that I'll be leading, which will be fun, followed by a drum circle. So bring your drums. And yeah. So now that we're here and we've had some time for people to hop on, let's get into the root chakra, how we can use this chakra as a concept to heal with. Okay. So the root chakra is located at the very base of the spine, and it is associated with the physical body. Okay. Beyond that, it's also associated with core belief systems. And this is the house where a lot of dogma is. I notice that whenever people are not feeling very grounded in who they are, the root chakra is a place to really focus on. And how do we bring it back into balance? First of all, how do we even know what grounding is? It's kind of a hot term right now. So to be ungrounded is to kind of live in this space in the mind all of the time. Maybe you're not super connected to your body. Maybe being in your body feels very uncomfortable for you. Maybe even feeling like for some people being human can feel uncomfortable for them as well. So when we feel this disconnect to the physical body, we can kind of take that hint that maybe we might have an imbalance down in the root chakra. So, what are some of the things that we can think about in bringing some balance into the root chakra? First and foremost, the thing that I always ask is, how is the nervous system? Are you in a sympathetic state or are you in a parasympathetic state? This usually means like, how are your thoughts? Okay. Are they chaotic? Are they disturbed? Are they distracted? These are things to really be mindful of. And if you head to my YouTube channel, there is a video there where we use the hand, the fingers of the hand in the morning time to gauge basically where our mind is at any given moment of the day. Okay, so check out that YouTube video if you find it. Sorry, my brain just went blank. So, how is the mind? Are we in a state of worry? Are we in a state of panic? Are we constantly thinking about all the things that need to get done and all the things that we need to do? And oh my goodness, and I have this and I have this. This kind of thought pattern is really going to begin to work with the body and the nervous system in a way that catalysts um, dis-ease, discomfort, and a lack of wellness overall. So, really checking in with the mind. Beyond that, diving deeper into the mind, what is going on with your belief systems? Because typically, whenever we are not aligned with our life, if we aren't satisfied with who we are, then we have a couple of options, one of which is to check in with our core belief systems. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this first activity that can help us really identify. Um, let me pick up this banner. That help us identify and bring balance into the root chakra. So we're going to look at the different facets of life and our core belief systems. Okay. And again, this is the process by which we are going to start healing the root chakra. So, when we look at the different facets of life and our core belief systems, we have the opportunity here to look at different areas of our lives. And some of the main areas of our lives that we can be looking at are our physical body, our mental, intellectual body, emotional, spiritual, environmental, social, and financial spaces. The thing that I really love about the mental, intellectual is that some people just really cut it off at mental, mental body, the physical body. And I love inviting the word intellectual in because me personally, I love to learn things. There's something about constantly allowing my brain to expand in its knowledge that feeds me. So, again, reading books, maybe studying a topic that you haven't learned about, maybe going and taking classes. This is going to be one way to really begin to hone in and support this mental and intellectual stage. All right. Now, how we would begin working with these different parts of our lives is we would give them a score on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being I'm extremely unsatisfied. I don't feel very confident. I don't feel full. I don't feel whole in these areas. And if we were at a 10, then we would say, this is more than I could have ever dreamed. So, how I like to do this is by setting it up kind of like on a piece of paper. I would use a larger piece of paper, and here I am at the center. And then I have all of these different circles, and inside of the circle, I would write whether it is where I am on a scale of 1 to 10. Sometimes people don't really know what a 10 is. And so don't be afraid to invite a little bit of imagination here. Like, what is the dream? What is your dream situation physically? What is your dream situation spiritually? What would a 10 be like? Don't be afraid to explore that concept, okay? Once we kind of set that tone, then we can write outside of it what are some things that I think would really help take it up a notch. So, again, for me, I felt for a while I wasn't getting enough intellectual mental stimulation. And that was really coming up in other behaviors and other areas of my life. And so once I was able to pinpoint, like, whoa, I'm really not getting a lot of intellectual stimulation, I started reading books. I started hopping on YouTube and listening to people talk. And I started feeling much more full in these areas, especially once I started implementing these things on a regular basis in a nice routine, in a nice ritual. For physical, some of us, it may be, I really need to add a little bit more stretching. I really need to add a little bit more strengthening. I really just want to do maybe something soft like Qigong or Tai Chi, knowing that there is no right or wrong answer here. Okay. That really, this is about you getting to have fun, getting to deepen your self awareness, and getting to play with your life in terms of what direction that you want to move forward in. Okay. Now, outside of these 7 facets, a lot of life coaches, these are the main facets. But let's take a look here that there are other things that we can look at. How's your self-love on a scale of 1 to 10? How is your hope? Like, do you feel hopeful in your future? Your intuition, your relaxation, your overall well-being, your peace, like your connection. We can use things that are outside of these 7, 8 frameworks that typically people would use. But it is nice to check in with these basic things, because if any of these top facets are going to be under a 5, you may notice an overall imbalance in your life, which may be causing a lack of satisfaction and a lack of happiness. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that we want to realize as human beings is that it's not necessarily the things that we are looking for. Most of the time, we're looking for the feeling of happiness. Okay. Now, when we dive into understanding ultimately that what we are looking for is the feeling to feel good, we realize that sometimes we set these conditions on ourselves and on our lives of what we believe might the objects or the environments that need to be in place in order for us to actually feel happiness. And this may be preconceived or preconditions that were implanted into you as children. It's like, you will not be happy unless you have this amount of money. You will not be happy unless you look this specific way, unless you have this specific body type. You will not be happy, etc., 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 unless you have this amount of much retirement. Okay. So, really understanding that when we set our goals, when we set our tens in all of these different areas, are we setting them based off of what other people have told us to believe, or are we setting them based off of our genuine and true belief systems? And this is what is also involved in the root chakra as well, right? Not just looking at ourselves fundamentally as human beings, not just connecting to the body on a very nervous system basis, right? But what at the core do we even believe in general? Do we believe the things that we were taught, or maybe we don't? And can we come to terms with it? Can we step into acceptance, knowing that maybe the things that we believe that our parents or grandparents or colleagues or friends might not believe, if they are different, am I okay with that? What kind of resonance or dissonance do these belief systems already put inside of us? So, resonance or dissonance. What does that mean? That means if I say, this is a big one for a lot of people, I am worthy just as I am. And something inside of us goes, no, because I need to have more money, or no, I need to have all of these other things. Now we're beginning to set conditions. And the question is, do we really believe in those conditions? Do we really believe that the conditions of our life need to change in order for us to be more worthy? And when we look at other people, do we set those same conditions for them as we do for ourselves? Because sometimes we don't. And if we can't allow ourselves to live in those conditions, then do we truly believe that for others as well? Or are we just trying to appear to share beliefs that are inaccurate? Because they say that if you cannot accept yourself fully and love yourself fully, then you can't really love others. You can only love others to the extent that you truly love yourself, to the allowance that you love yourself. And so the thing that I love about testing our core belief systems is that we can find out that even though what we believe may differ from somebody else, it doesn't mean that we have to disrespect them or not like them, right? It's simply understanding that we all come here able to experience life how we want, whether we want our belief systems to be limiting and conditional, or whether we want our belief systems to be unconditional and open. When we allow ourselves to have conditions, but when we allow ourselves to have belief systems that are open and unconditional, that are open to changing, right? Because even as we grow as people, our belief systems might change. What I believed as an 18-year-old is certainly not what I believe now as a 30-year-old. You know, my life experience has allowed me to gain wisdom, to gain knowledge of things that I didn't know before. And so, can we have that flexibility within ourselves, so much so that we do let go of the belief systems, of the dogma that we have, of the traditions maybe that we have been taught that really just don't resonate with us anymore? You know, there was a time where I was taught that I would not be a respected teacher or a respected person unless my body was a very specific weight. Now, can you imagine a little child, an innocent child, believing that? And if they had some sort of health issue, or if there was something going on with their body, that they always felt like they were never going to be enough due to this core belief system. And how can we teach this child to understand that their body does not determine their knowledge, does not determine their worth, does not determine, etc.? Yeah. We do that by teaching them how to change their core belief systems. I do not believe that that is the truth. I believe I am worthy. I know my worth. I know my education. I know myself. These dogmatic belief systems do not serve me and they do not serve others. And so I am releasing them lovingly, knowing that that is not my truth. Now, what I do with my body is my own choice. However, I don't believe that somebody's worth is determined on that as compared to maybe previous generations who have taught that. Now, let's go a little bit more expansive in this and understanding that some of the core belief systems that we have are societal. And so, while maybe in this part of the world, having a certain body type, maybe a thinner frame, might be more attractive or better, that on a completely different part of the planet, that the perspective is complete opposite, that maybe somebody with a thinner frame would be considered less attractive. So really, let's dive into what are belief systems anyway. What are they? And are we allowing certain frameworks that we have invited into our lives or that we have been taught, are they truly holding us back from just simply enjoying life? Because at the end of the day, what did we start off with this video saying? All of us just, it's not about the objects that we have in life. Some people have lots of objects and they are still seeking what? Most of us are seeking happiness, peace, and satisfaction. So, can we allow ourselves to really dive into what are our core belief systems? What are the different facets of life that we can look at in order to invite certain levels of peace and satisfaction? So, if you are watching, if you have been watching, thank you for being here. It's such an honor for you to hop on and for you to be with me here. If you are interested in starting the process of self-healing, okay, one of the big foundations that I suggest to my clients is to really take an inventory of what is going on inside of the mind. Okay. Some of the belief systems that you're operating under, some of these judgments, these conditions, they're not yours. They've been handed down to you. And so it's really up to you to decide what fits you, what fits your life, okay? And coming coming to a place where we understand that it may differ from the people that we love, the people that we respect, and that is okay. It's okay that you think differently. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Even when other people might say you shouldn't think that way, there is no right or wrong here. It's really about authenticity, it's about honesty. So, checking in with yourself. What do you believe? How maybe does it differ from what you have been taught? And then when you have those core belief systems kind of set, maybe setting them for all of these different facets of life here. Okay. Setting your personal goals of what you want them to be, of what fits these core belief systems, maybe these new belief systems that you are now starting to honor. Okay. And maybe even expanding them into these other dynamics of intimacy, of relationships, of self love. Like, how are you showing up to that? What does that look like for you? What do you want to invite? Maybe what I consider self love, maybe my actions of self love may differ from your actions of self love. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it is up for you to explore and discover what that means. Okay. Again, another message of just checking in with the mind and knowing that the mind goes deep, right? Because we're not just conscious beings. There's a lot of subconscious conditionings that we're operating under ultimately. And when we are able to sit down and say, okay, what is my belief system about about being in a physical body?